Welcome to another edition of the Stack Supplement Podcast, and this is a very special edition episode where I'm going to run down all of the mountain of action that went down at the Arnold Sports Festival this year. Obviously, this was the very first time Stacked ran something of this nature. In fact, I don't think there's ever been. I could be wrong. I'm going to say it though. I don't think, or I've never seen anything at a major sports nutrition event like this to the extent of what Stacked did. Usually you kind of get distributors and sometimes wholesalers and stuff like that, or even you occasionally get grouped brands, like some international shows might have a European region or an Asian or an American. This was obviously a very handcrafted, selected, curated premium section of brands that was purely selected and I guess picked by us here at Stacked. Every brand that was there had been featured on Stacked. That was pure and simple. That was obviously one of the many things that we were looking for, and just a great representation of the industry and Stacked as well, I guess, since our name was there. So for those that didn't go or didn't really hear about it, the Stacked Pavilion was basically an area within the Arnold Expo at the Arnold Sports Festival this year in Columbus, Ohio. And it was, so it basically made up a block of about 48 10x10s, if that might not make much sense, but we had about 4 lines or 4 rows of back-to-back booths that would be about 3 each side, and then next we got 3 each side again. But every brand had the choice of going an individual 10x10 booth at 10x20, so that would span 2. And you could also do a 3. Some could turn it and be what they call an end cap. And so basically the principle was, or the idea was, that you would go into this area and you would get just an awesome experience with each of these brands. They would all be very similar. They're all represented similar, so no one could go above the height that anyone else was. Everyone was within the similar realm. It was a nice even playing field, you could say. You could do 10x10s and 20s and 30s and end caps, but the idea was that everyone was kind of a similar level. And all in all, this thing went off nothing but positive feedback. When we were at the show, the Arnold Sports Festival in itself was the biggest event, the most successful Arnold Sports Festival in history. And that obviously, that was what Arnold Schwarzenegger himself said, and this was obviously him judging everything else that went on at the Arnold Sports Festival. So that event isn't just the Expo, even though that's all that I've already gone to it for. They do have many other sports. They have obviously the prestigious bodybuilding competition that is the Arnold Classic. They also have Arnold Strongman. They have a host of other events going on. And the turnout was just ridiculous. If you were following on social, even we put up a few things of just how damn busy it was, and that definitely poured into the Stacked Pavilion, which as far as not even as far, we are indeed doing next year. So this isn't a one-time thing. This wasn't an experiment. Although it kind of was an experiment if it failed, I guess. If we didn't have that many brands show up and there weren't people interested, then you would call it an experiment. But it was a huge success. Every brand in the area enjoyed the taking part, supporting the area, supporting the space. And I think that just the brands that we brought together, I'm going to rattle them off. I'm not even going to try and rattle them all off the top of my head. You know what? I will give it a shot. So I'm going to go from back to front. So we had Macrocap, was a manufacturer. We had Ice Shaker, Wrath Performance, Nutrition 21, which is an ingredient company. Then we had Ninja. There was also Psycho Pharma, who was just to the left of them. When they had Bull Nutrition, Vandal. So Bull Nutrition and Vandal were both out of Canada. We had Alpha Neon, Zim Fit, Amma Pharma, which is a functional food producer that has presence in the US, but is originally out of Poland. We had Control, the gaming nutrition brand, or started gaming. Now it's very strongly become a nutrition, balanced nutrition brand with meal replacements and their protein snack. We also had Nocco Bear Bells, which is doubled up side by side. We had Inspired, Panda. I'm going to be kicking myself because I feel like I'm going to forget some, but I really am trying my best not to. We had Compound Solutions, which also had C4 representation at their booth, and that was the newly reformulated C4 Ultimate Energy Drink, which now contains teacrine and dynamine. NutriBio was there, New Live, Noco Bear Bells we mentioned, Performix, Jim Stolpani's Gym Supplement Science, Ghost, the two-time Brand of the Year Hardcore company, Apollo Nutrition, New Live, I think I said New Live, and then PVL, Pure Vital Labs. I think that was all of them. If I missed some, I am supremely sorry. But we had a lot of internationals as well. Like I said, I named all of them. We had Vandal, Bull Nutrition, Alpha Neon out of the UK, MF Pharma. So it was very much a collection, like I said, of brands that you see on Stacked. And it was just a star-studded lineup. And I think that when people came in, they got a very good feeling of the industry, basically. And that was kind of the point. That was what we felt. That's what everyone seemed to enjoy. And a lot of people within the show sold out. So they didn't have enough stuff to last them through the end. And even though we, as Stacked, our goal was to try and bring added value to the show. So anytime we could get more out of nothing was what I was trying to do, what we were trying to achieve to do. So we organized a lot of the B2B visits. So we had a lot of retailers, buyers, distributors, manufacturers, ingredient guys. They were allowed passes to come in, check the space out. They were free passes, and that was to encourage just putting the brands that were here on their radar. Or in some cases, even pick them up and bring them into their stores or networks. So we gave away free t-shirts to absolutely everyone that was in that kind of walked in for the first few hundred. I think it was originally meant to be the first few hundred, but it turned out to just get ridiculously crazy. We ended up giving them out around 11 or 12. We had the awards that went out to a few spaces around the show. We like I said, we brought in as much value to the thing as possible, and we've got even more lined up. So if you didn't see it, we put up a nice little highlight reel on Instagram. Feel free to check it out. I would say that everyone's consensus after the general consensus after the show was that shows are back, and I feel like it's well worth pointing out that it's mostly the Arnold. They obviously, when they put a lot of effort into this, into bringing the people, bringing the brands, allowing Stack to do something like this that encouraged smaller companies to be able to come to a show like this. And I think a lot of the people in the area might not have come to this event or an event at all if we weren't there to kind of help them. And that was one thing we did throughout the weekend as well, was make sure everyone was okay. Anyone that had to, we wrapped, I think it was 2 or 3 pallets at the end. So people that needed to go and catch flights and, not have to worry about missing that did so. And we were there helping out as best we can, all the people within the Stacked Pavilion. But the general consensus was that this show was just a ridiculous success on the Expo side. Obviously, the other sides were just as good. They also had the free stream. So all in all, it was a damn good show. If you were a visitor, I think everyone had a great time. Everyone loved the area. I also felt like it drew in a lot of supplement fans. I got the sense that I didn't spend too much time outside of the Stacked Pavilion area, but I got the sense that it's kind of like my best example was like a food court where there may be food places scattered throughout the mall, but when you go to the food court, you get this drive or this encouragement almost to be like, well, this is where I'm going to spend my money on food. And when we had this deep concentration of supplement companies and functional foods, I think it drove a lot of just natural encouragement and buyer encouragement to just spend their money here, because this is where they all very clearly were. Whether or not you walked the show, came back, or came here first, I think it encouraged just people like, hey, this is where all the cool supplements are. Like, and it was a very interesting first outing and a huge success. And a lot of the improvements that we feel could be done are on the back end. My main goal was to ensure that the brands had the best time. I didn't really care too much until it was done, and then they had gone through the whole 3 days and were like, this was cool. If you said you were cool first day, the other 2 days could have gone wrong, but we made sure everyone was having a great time. And like I said, the Stacked Pavilion will indeed be back for 2025 is what I'm trying to remember the year. The plan right now is to be, these are all plans. We've discussed with a lot of people, and hopefully ironing out a lot of the details over the next few weeks, but the concept that we're going with right now is for it to be slightly bigger. I don't want to make it too large, mostly because it might lose that premium feel. We still want it to feel separate and select, and so it will be slightly larger, maybe 50%, maybe roughly is what I think based on the feedback there. A lot that were there this year, we've already said, in fact, before the show finished, I'm coming back next year. I want to do slightly larger. I want to do this. I want to do that. And so a lot of them will be returning. We will be giving the opportunity to some brands to go bigger, if makes sense. I didn't want to do a 20 by 20 space. If in convention talk, that is sort of what you would call an island. So that's where it's sort of just a big square, and there's just one booth in the middle. That is typically what an island represents. We didn't have any of those purely because, like I said, a lot of the guys that were there this year wanted to double. No one would have come in at a 2020, we felt. At least we wouldn't have had enough for the first time. I think they wanted to see the value, see how it played out. And the problem was, if we did a 20 by 20, only one person went with it, it would feel, no matter where you put that, everyone around it would be kind of feeding into it, and I didn't want that at all. So I think we've already got about 2 or 3 people interested in doing something of that stature, and so that way, with that amount, we can spread them out. It won't seem like the whole pavilion is surrounded by this. We will be able to place them so that it seems more of a intricate, smooth, I guess, intertwining of things. It won't be take away from anybody else, and we'll try and figure out the floor plan so it just pops as nicely as possible. But yeah, that is the game right now. We'll still be going for that similar balance. It wasn't obviously out there, but we did try and make most of them supplement brands, sports supplement companies. They will be, we did have a functional side where, so we had energy drinks, bars, and we had ingredients, but the idea behind that was that it was in relative size to how many brands we had. So if we had 5 spaces, they would all be supplements. Now that we had 10, we might make 1 or 2 of those ingredients, 1 or 2 of those functional stuff, or like on-the-go things like an energy drink and a protein bar. So that similar balance will continue into next year's one. As far as I know, we're trying to get slightly more premium or better positioned. For those that went, you would have known that we were right at the front, so I want to try and get something more. Just that pops a little even bigger somewhere else. I don't know yet, but overall the event was a success. It will be coming back. It will be better. It will be bigger. We'll be working on doing things for every exhibitor that takes part in it to bring, again, more value. Anything that we can add to elevate it is the game, and we've already been talking with the organizers to hopefully bring in some more things, just again to smoothen out the experience for guys that would never done a show before, that may have wanted that helping hand or just some expertise to guide them throughout. That was entirely what I felt the role of Stacked was in this, not just this is the Stacked Pavilion, come be under us. That was not it at all. I wanted to make sure that these guys saw value and that they got that experience at an expo that you couldn't get anywhere else. And so, yeah, very hands-on approach, very time-consuming, but I think after seeing it all and seeing the action and the weekend, I can tell you it was incredibly worth it. And I think that most fans that visited, most industry-level people that visited, most brands, it was all-around positive feedback. And I think the Arnold isn't on I don't think this year was just a jump. I think this is just part of the upward curve. I don't imagine them taking their foot off the gas. They put more effort in each year since bringing the show back from the year of the pandemic. And based on what they're saying and what they did in previous years to get to this ridiculously strong point, I think they're going to keep the pressure on, keep the effort output, and you will be in for what is undoubtedly going to be the biggest, I would say, the biggest sports nutrition show in the US, maybe even the world. And I know that's a broad statement. Obviously, you have things. FIBO's a giant, but from what I'm trying to explain is that this would be mostly, I'm trying to make this all about supplements. Other international shows are quite large, incorporate other things, but we would like to just really up that supplement side. And I've even asked if we can take up more space, not just for the Stacked Pavilion, but for the show in general, just to pack as much as you can. If you can go there for a day and not see it all, that is a job achieved. Tick the boxes, and you have to stay there because there's too much. That is the ideal experience. Or if you get in there bang at 10 and you leave at 6 at night and you're just smashed, but you still have to drive home, but you saw everything, that's a pass too. But yeah, you'll look forward to seeing more basically over the next 11 months. I'm actually here right now at the Arnold Sports Festival for the UK. I'm in Birmingham. We're heading that on tomorrow. But for this kind of debriefing, this wrap up, that is it. If you have any questions, if you want to take part, if you want to support, if you have any ideas, and even any feedback, even if you were at the show and you're like, this carpet was a little bit dirty, shoot it over to me, because it is my goal entirely to make this an experience like no other. That's obviously the Stacked Pavilion. Things for the Arnold Expo itself I can pass on to, but yeah, if you have any kind of response, throw it in the comments, throw it in social media, reach out to us on our website. But of course, as always, still visit the website, check it out every day, multiple times a day. And for this special edition debrief wrap up, that is it. I look forward to having you back next time.